today I'm going to be talking about The Little Prince by Saint Antoine Exupéry. I know I definitely mispronounced that. First of all, I read this book first when I was like, I think 7 or 8. I don't really remember at this point. I really enjoyed it once again, and it kind of always stuck with me, and recently I decided to reread it, so I'm going to give you my thoughts on that. In case you didn't read the story, then first of all you should go read it, but the book basically tells a story of a little prince who makes a journey through the universe, and on this trip he discovers the strange ways adults see life, and he begins to understand the value of friendship, of love, of loneliness. So this book was actually written in 1943, and what I really like about the book is that despite the target audience being children, the story references issues for adults as well, such as materialism, compensation for money, love, and death. And what's also interesting is the historic context from this book, because it was written in 1943, and during the 1930s, the Nazis saw France as a great threat, and in 1940, the Nazis actually occupied France, and Saint-Exupéry was left embarrassed with this defeat because he thought basically he was losing the culture, the history of his country. And this terror is definitely demonstrated in The Little Prince because he shows this kind of limbo there is between childhood and adulthood, and you can even take The Little Prince as a war allegory. But yeah, what's interesting is that Saint-Exupéry began writing this book shortly after Germany's invasion of France, when he was exiled to the United States. And this actually left him unable to pursue his dreams in becoming an aviator, which I think are represented in the protagonist of Little Prince. So The Little Prince actually comes from a true story. From what I've investigated, on December 30th of 1935, Saint-Exupéry and his co-pilot were forced to make a forced landing in the Sahara Desert after traveling for 19 hours, and they did manage to survive. However, they barely had enough food and water, and both of them experienced hallucinations and lots of heat, and I'm guessing dehydration, and they were only rescued in the 4th day. If you've read The Little Prince, then you know that this is what happens to the protagonist. When the book was published, many classified it as a children's story, but as time went on, people began realizing its depths, and they began investigating the themes of love, suffering, and death. So yeah, in the book, the world of adults is represented as a world where topics that could be trivial are represented as serious and of great importance, such as, I don't know, bridge golf, politics, and ties, like The Little Prince mentions. Overall, this Little Prince makes us understand that we should not be like adults in a much simpler world. Personally, after rereading the book many years later, I was able to understand that this book was about following your creativity, your passions, your dreams, and never to lose the power of imagination. Obviously, in the story, the aviator falls in the middle of the Sahara Desert, and he's in complete solitude, and this reflects our internal passages through loneliness and the importance of finding meaningful connection. So in my opinion, The Little Prince's journey is a metaphor itself, and you can understand it however you want. I know there are multiple interpretations to the book, but every time I read it, I cry. It just brings me so much nostalgia. My short reflection of the book is that it connects us with the importance of friendship and nature, and it teaches us the values of life, not just in the material world, but also to value the small moments that are present in our everyday lives. And also, I think one of the main themes that I got from the book was that we have to connect to everything on a spiritual level in order to really understand the essence of life. So actually, The Little Prince's planet is named B612, and it kind of demonstrates how humans value numerical figures. The Little Prince actually says that we should reconnect with the stars and not be the possessors of the stars. We should cut the weeds in our life, and we should admire the immensity of the universe and the mystery of life itself. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for liking this video. I really enjoy this book. I know there's a lot more to explore. Once again, there's so many different interpretations that one could come up The Little Prince, but I'll just leave it there. Comment what you thought about the book. Thank you. Bye.